All right. Since I'm live. Hi, Edith. How are you today? Tonight? Whatever it is. It's midnight now. The witching hour. Nice to see you. I just came from another sprint, so I'm like trying to transfer from there over to here, and ours is running a few minutes late. I wasn't watching the clock, but I made it. I wasn't supposed to stream tonight. I slept all day. Got up briefly from my aid and went right back to sleep for the rest of the night till like almost 10 o'clock when Laura Nettle started streaming. So I figured I better do something today. So I figured I'll have a pop up. I'm streaming later on tonight at 7. Hi, Greg. The 24-hour sprint. I never promised that, but I could do it. There have been some nights where I went almost 12 hours, and if it hadn't been that there was nobody there, I would have probably continued. Unfortunately, tomorrow, I don't have 24 hours today to devote to it. And I got my aide coming in the early or late, I guess you would say late afternoon, probably. If not, it'll be early evening. You have to stop everything for that. So we'd be on a super long sprint if I were to try to let this thing just run and stay up all night long. But if I had to, I have done it before. I've been up. I haven't streamed that long before. I've done it. Edith says, it's morning for me. I have a doctor appointment in 1.5 hours, so I'm just trying to stay awake. Oh, boy. Yeah. I've fallen asleep just before doctor's appointments before, and it's like, oh, my God, you're supposed to be there. Now it's like, if I sit down, I have to set my alarm clock on my phone because I know I'm going to fall asleep. It's just, I take so many medications, they make me super dopey and super sleepy. And if I sit down like that and my mind just shuts off, I'm out of there. So yeah, I have to set the alarm. I can't take a chance. And today ended up being, I got up. I mean, I went to bed, I don't know what, 3 or so in the morning after the last stream. You know what time that was when it ended. Not too long after Greg left last night, I think. Oh, that's right. Blue was here for a while. So we streamed a little bit longer. That's right. Blue showed up. And then I got disconnected. And when the time I got back, I'm looking at the time. I'm exhausted from fighting with the computer, getting my stream back up. But Blue was still here. And so we did a little bit of streaming, sprinting. And then I just decided, well, I might as well go to bed. So I ended up sleeping clear to like, I don't know, when did my phone ring? 2 something? 2 o'clock? Somewhere around there. And my aide says, oh, I can come early today. Can I come at 3:30? I'm like, yeah. So I drug myself out of bed and everything. She arrives at my door, does her thing, and I'm like sitting there falling asleep. Plus it had a hot shower. So that kind of adds to it. So I ended up just laying back down and going to sleep till 10 o'clock to this last sprint. So I need to do something. I need to get something accomplished. Ada says, I get that. Over like 15 minutes ago, I was like, this is dangerous. I need to get out of bed. Yeah. It can be very, even in a chair. I mean, I fall asleep sitting up at my computer. I'm so tired and out of it. So yeah, if I'm in bed, forget it. I'm definitely gonna fall asleep. Definitely. So I have been working on All right. Sorry. I got her other thing on. So. All right. I got that turned off. She's getting ready to read the stories. Forgot she was going to come live again. I just muted her. She's busy reading the stories. I don't need to listen to them, so we will not worry about that. Like I said, I have been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I just can't seem to do one thing continuously. I've started trying to figure out how I'm going to hook book 2 to book 1. I've got an idea of where I can add a character from book 2 to book 1. Yeah, that was Laura's end of her stream. She's getting ready to read the stories now. I forgot to mute her before I moved over to mine, and so of course it came through loud and clear. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that, but I do it occasionally. So I figured out where I'm probably going to start connecting the 2 stories together. And then when I was reading through my addresses they used in book 1, because they take part in 2 cities. One is on the beach, so nautical names is great. But the other town isn't really a beach town, so I need to change some of the addresses in there to reflect other. And so I looked up the most common addresses, and I've got a list of what I can use that can go in one city and what can use in the other city. Edith says, I have medication that makes me loopy and one that makes me restless, so I'm all over the place. I understand that feeling. Believe me, I have bipolar disorder, and the medications help sometimes, and sometimes I'm all over the place because I'm a rapid cycler now. It used to be like 3 months between cycles. Now it's rapid. It can change in 5 minutes, and I can go from manic to dead down depressed in minutes. So I never know where I'm going to be. I just have to kind of go with the flow. So I'm trying to update my story Bible and create a new one for book 2, who's going to have a lot of the characters from book 1, obviously, because I'm intertwining these books to be one town with a few locations in another, because the first location took place in a different town, but the murders were in another town completely. And since that's the town I'm going to focus on now, because the main characters from book 1 moved to the other town. So even though they will possibly refer back to the other town, I needed to look at the street names and realize that the second town is not really on the beach, so it shouldn't have a lot of nautical names, which is what I was trying to do for the first town. So I need to go by and fix some of these names on here and put them, into something that's not nautical. And so I looked up the 20 most popular names in the country, and there's like streets, numbers, a couple towns. They're the most common names. Lake, hill, those kind of things. So I need to fix. Well, I still need to fix part 1 anyhow, because I have to add the people from part 2 so that they're connected, and I need to move most of these people so that they're in the town. Hi, Amelia. A story Bible is a list of like your characters. Like I use Excel, so I have a sheet that has my main characters, my minor characters, the towns involved, Each character has the information of their address, their type of vehicle, age, description. Rather than writing out character sheets, they're in my story Bible. And hi, Amy. I didn't see you pop in there. Hi, R. You finished. I had it open and it came over loud and clear. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went over and muted it so I didn't stifle it. I already had people in here. All right. So story Bible, back to that, is, a lot of information pertaining to either a stories or a series. And in my case, it was just supposed to be a one-time story Bible. And now it's turned into a series. So it's more like a series thing. So like a lot of the people are going to be the same in each one. Because, the town is all interactive and everything together. And the addresses for the, different buildings, businesses. I have a police department set up, page that's set up with, what the different ranks are and the names of the people in the different ranks. It's all that kind of information. And now I'm going to set up a street one. So there's going to be a sheet for street names. As I accumulate street names, I will add them to my list. So I have them available. And I have to do it. So far, I have 2 cities that are kind of, little intertwined together. So they're, but I do have to change some things on there. But that's where all that information goes rather than normally an outline. I'm going to probably have to outline the second one. So that's a story Bible. Edith says, I have severe OCD and recurring major depressive disorder. Yeah, I can understand. Got them both. Plus the bipolar and the PTSD and the ADHD and, the list goes on. Borderline personality disorder. My head's a mess. So the drugs that they give me for all this make me tired and sedated. And it's hard to stay awake. So I sort of explain what a story Bible is. So it's different for everybody, and it's created differently. Everybody creates it differently, depending on what you write with. I understand you can put those kind of files in Scrivener if you use Scrivener. I still don't know how to use Scrivener. So for me, they're in an Excel spreadsheet. And I just made a copy of the last one, because like I said, most of those people will be interactive in book 2. So you don't have to retype them all over again, everything anyhow. I may have to tweak some stuff in there, because like the main characters move, so the original address won't work. But I still need that address because I just thought of how I can connect. Another way I can connect the stories by using that property. So Laura's here. She's finished. Amy says, am I safe for an hour before finishing a few much needed errands, such as self-care? Gotcha, girl. Thanks for coming. Greg says to Amelia, I had the feeling we just met. You guys are funny. Emily says, thanks for the stream, Laura. Laura says, Amy, it was fun. Bunny's cute. Little bunny. Very cute. I'm afraid of them, but they're cute. Dragging, so it's like reference here. Yes. That's where you keep all the stuff that you can't keep in your head, since I'm a pantser. And a novel is too much information to remember. I can't remember all the names, where they live, how old they are. But I don't want to sit and write out long character sheets and all the other stuff that people tend to do. So it's a place to store that information. And I just copy and paste it, basically the old one into a new one. We'll take out what I don't need and add in what I do. Okay, Laura says time for bed after work tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Laura. Thanks for the Spirit, and thanks for showing up for a few minutes. See ya. Amy Lee says, bye, lovely Laura. Greg says, you are better organized than G.R. Martin. He said in an interview once that he sometimes needs to call up his superfans to find out whether a character ever did so-and-so. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is something somebody had told me about, and I thought, now that's what I need. Someplace to hold all the information so my brain doesn't have to store it because I'm not an outliner. In an outline, you would have written it all down, going back. If you needed to, look at something, you would just go back in your outline. I don't have an outline to look at. So for me, it works. Amelia says, I had depression. It mostly disappeared after I left my old school for my online school. My anxiety stayed and heightened, however. I think even people without anxiety in this day and age have anxiety because of the pandemic and stuff. But then there's a lot of us that, like, I was born with it. I had anxiety medicine in my baby bottles. That's how bad I was. Amy says, do any of you all have tips for writing a disturbingly disgusting scene? I don't, because I usually don't write disturbingly disgusting scenes. You can always go look at morgue pictures, like real life morgue pictures, or pictures from police files of terrible murders. I know those things are available somewhere. I don't know how to tell you to find them, but Amelia says to Greg, I don't know who that is, but that's hilarious. If you're talking about Amy, you were just in the same sprint at Lars. Amy was in there too. You were all in there. I was there. I saw you all. Amelia says to Amy, blood, guts, and gore? Amy says, precisely. Greg says to Amelia, G.R.R. Martin wrote Game of Thrones. I don't know anything about it. Heard of it. Never watched it. Amelia says, haven't watched it, but cool. Amy Lee says, talented Tessa. Oh, thank you, Amy Lee. Thank you. Very nice. Amelia is laughing. Greg says, I was never a fan of Game of Thrones. I think it is overhyped, but the author gives very good talks on YouTube. I heard he's supposed to be a very good writer, and he writes a lot of things besides just Game of Thrones. He seems to be one of the people they refer to when they refer to different things, or looking on how to do certain things. His name comes up quite often. Amy says, I developed a case of bad anxiety after the pandemic. It's stick ever since. Well, the pandemic is not over, so I don't see it ending anytime really soon. So it's certainly adding to my anxiety. Like I said, I've been watching people play GTFO, which is a very nice horror game. And Jocelyn, hey everyone. I love Game of Thrones, but hated the end. So many emotions in that show for the end to be the way it was, the way it is. Not good for a lot of us fans. Hated it. I never saw it. Hi Jocelyn, how you doing? Hey Tamama. Nice to see you. And it jumped on me because I clicked on yours and it jumped. But nice to see you, Tamama. Emily says, in New Zealand, the pandemic isn't bad. We don't have to wear masks often. Unfortunately, here, it's still bad and masks are still required. I'm getting my hair cut, hopefully this Friday. Things are very, very limited still. There's not a lot of You go into a restaurant, everybody is spread out so they can't seat very many people. So yeah, it is so rapid here. Not as bad, it's getting better, but I think schools are going to start opening again. Amelia said everyone is here. Almost. Haven't seen Jen in a few days. Jocelyn says, hey Tessa, how you been doing? Oh, Jocelyn, it's been interesting. I'm so tired, and you know who is grumpy and sick and not very happy. She's been here. She's not very happy about it, as you can imagine. So, I'm okay. I'm tired. That's why I'm streaming late, because I slept all day. I woke up long enough for the aid and back to bed I went. Greg says to Amy Lee, just write about things that people typically abhor, like bodies, blood, rats. Write about the experience rather than description. Yeah, really. And there are sites online where you can find a lot of that gore. There really are. Greg says the room was dark. The detective hoped he wouldn't find a body. The smell overwhelming his nostrils quickly dashed that hope. Well, where was it? Where was the light switch? Good. Yeah, described like nausea and stuff, Amelia says. So Amy says, amazing Amelia, greatest Greg, thriving Tamama, and joyful Jocelyn. Thank you, Amy. Giving everybody names. Amelia's love. Oops, I'm on a piece of paper and I won't let my mouse move. It doesn't work right. Amy says, thanks, Greg. That makes sense. And of course, talented Tessa. Of course. Don't forget me, right? So, wow. Amy says I probably won't remember all of them. I'm sure I'm not going to remember them all either. Not that I call anybody by any of those things. Jocelyn says to Amy, thanks, you are so cool. Thumbs up. Amelia's laughing out loud. Jocelyn says hi to Greg. Tamama is, I don't know, smiling, grinning, whatever. Me and emojis we don't get along too well together. I have no idea. Jocelyn is laughing. She says that means funny. Amy says, coolness trails me like a lost puppy. Just kidding. Thanks. Oh, you guys. Jocelyn says, I don't know even how to pronounce it, but J-E-J-E-J means ha 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 ha, laugh out loud. We had this when she first started coming. I'm like, what are you talking about? She doesn't speak English as a first language, so sometimes she uses some of her Spanish. And then today, who is from Bulgaria, so she doesn't speak English as a first language, was saying how she went to one of her clients and they spoke Spanish, and she goes, if you think my English is bad, you want to see my Spanish. Oh my goodness. Amy says Tamama is thriving. Man, now that I've noticed my character's sexual tension, you can't write a normal scene. Uh-oh. Jocelyn says, you sound so much fun, Amy. Yeah, so Amy keeps the show hopping. She was my first live spinner. And then I missed her for quite a while. I didn't have her around. And things quieted down. I'm like, oh, I know who keeps this place hopping. Amy Lee. Johnson says, laugh out loud to Amelia. And wait a minute. Amelia's word. Mi español is no muy bueno. My Spanish is not very good. Ditto that. I can do a little bit. Amy says, Afrikaans is my first language. Interesting. And say my English was really put to the test at school. Oh, how about that? Amy Lee's from New Zealand. I never really thought much about it. I had a pen pal from New Zealand when I was a little kid. And she spoke English. I'm not really sure much about Afrikaans. To Mama writes to Amelia, embrace the tension. Amelia Ward. And yes to something that she said. Amy says to Jocelyn, blushes. Well, thank you, my lady. Not that though. Jocelyn says, ha ha ha. Cool, Amy. I took ESL when I got here 6 years ago. So struggling sometimes. My grammar sucks, even though that was my favorite class in best grade. Well, I tried learning Spanish, and I did a little bit, but yeah, it's not easy learning languages. Amelia writes to Mama, if I embrace it, it's going to go very fast in the fan fiction territory, but the angst. Amy Lee says, I was from South Africa, but moved to New Zealand about a year ago before the pandemic. That might spike the anxiety as well. Okay, so you moved continents, actually, I guess you would say. You moved continents. Yeah, that would definitely spike anxiety for sure. Wow. Redid that one. This thing's jumping all over. Maria says, I speak a little Spanish, a little Japanese, and a bit of ASL. I'm not sure what ASL is. I have no idea what ASL is. I'm not even going to try. I can speak a little bit of Spanish. Very little bit of Spanish. Christina thought she was being American Sign Language. Gotcha. Thank you. They're teaching that to children now. It's a very good idea. Little tiny babies are able to learn how to tell their mother and father when they're hungry and want more food and stuff like that. I think it's great. They came today and she's like, Vamonos. I said, well, I know what that one means. That is one of the words I do remember from my Spanish. Amy says, Afrikaans to prat is so, well, it looks like leper. I don't know. It's one of the youngest languages in the world, originated from the Dutch, according to Amy. Now, Tamara's writing what looks like gibberish. Does it mean anything, or is it just gibberish? Well, Japanese was my first thought, Jocelyn. But I don't know enough about Japanese to know. But that was the first thought that entered my head, that maybe it was Japanese. Amelia says, haven't learned Nasaruno yet, but I know what Nahongo means. I'm not going to ask. All right, Amy wants to write about an animal being killed, but I'm withholding the urge to Google pictures. That might be the best way to describe it, is to look at pictures of it. To actually, here Greg is asking if anyone knows Esperanto, because that has to deal with his new book. I've never heard of it. He says it's a real language, and to read the book at the end, you need to be able to learn the language throughout reading his book, which is a very interesting idea, for sure. Never heard of it before, but very interesting idea. Amy says Nahongo means good morning, I think. Oh, wait. Mama writes, it's Hanasaru can speak. Hanasaru can speak. Wow. Learning a lot of stuff here. Edith says Nihongo means the Japanese language. Okay. Tamama writes, I know of Esperanto. Jocelyn says, I watched KB Ramans for over 10 years. I can understand a little, like a couple phrases, but not much. Amelia writes, oh, to Tamama. Yeah, I've learned that. Usually there is some extra articles in there. Just assumed it was the article ha. Amy wants to do a sprint. Good idea. How long should we do, people? Edith says, oh, I'm not even going to try that. You guys can read it, and you know what it means? Great. I have no idea. That is definitely nothing in there I can pick out. Tamama says, yes, sorry. Got a little casual with it, Amelia. Amy says, how about 25 minutes? Amelia. There we go with the little symbols again. I can't read them. But I'm going to go and set up the timer for 25 minutes so we can start a sprint. And then we'll start in a few seconds. Don't take me long to fix the timer. $25-minute timer. Okay, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. And there we go. Amy has to leave in 30 minutes and might be back before you end the stream. Okay. Amelia says to Mama, writes, I'm by the books for now. Greg says, Google Translate makes it easy. It's Finnish. Since you are writing in different languages, then here's a pretty nut to crack for you. No worry. Courtney says, Courtney, oh, we got somebody new in here. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one still awake. Hi, Courtney. Nice to see you. I'm not sure if you've been on my stream before. Nice to meet you. We're just started a 25-minute sprint. If you'd like to join in. I run at all different hours. I'm liable to run all night. I'm liable to run. I do have one scheduled for 7 tonight. So, I do need a little bit of sleep somewhere in there. Despite the fact we talked about a 24-hour sprint earlier in the other stream, today is not going to be a 24-hour sprint. I do have to get some sleep sometime. But you are glad to, That's not the word I want. You are welcome to join us in our sprint and our current sprints to come. And welcome to my channel. Greg says it's Finnish. I figured that much. Because I know Ida is from Finland. She says, haha, indeed. Amy Lee says to Courtney, hi, I'm Amy, and who might you be? Boy, Amy, you are nosy. Yeah, evil grin. See, Courtney says, happy to be here. I've popped in but haven't chatted before. I think I've seen your name before, but yeah. You may have said hi at the most. I don't remember you being active in my stream. But you're welcome at any time. I stream most nights except Mondays and Wednesdays. However, today I made an exception because of sleeping all day and most of the night, getting up at 10 o'clock at night. I decided to sprint this morning. So right now it's still technically Monday. And then on Tuesday at 7, I have my regularly scheduled sprint. Monday and Tuesday I usually don't sprint. So, but you're happy to, you're welcome to be here at any time. I'm likely to sprint normally for 30 minutes, but I know some people that like 25. So when I have other people in the chat, I usually ask them if they'd rather do something else. So I was given 25. So we're doing 25 this time. So, and Amelia is still doing symbols. I have no clue. All right, 20 minutes are left. I'm going to see if I can get something done to sprint. So I'm going to leave you guys. If you want to just keep on chatting, by all means, or sprinting, by all means, do what you want. I will be back in 20 minutes. Check on you guys. Okay, how did everybody do? I'm still working the streets addresses. I'm gonna have to rename a lot of these streets because, like I said, one's a beach town. It needs nautical terms for street names, and the other one, I also have nautical terms, but it's not really a beach town, and that's the main town. So I have to really work on addresses. There's so many things I have to work on. I still haven't figured out how to copy over the whole Excel sheet, so I'm doing it one sheet at a time at this point because I don't remember how you make a copy of the whole work. It was a long time ago. It's okay, Amelia. Thanks for trying. And I see where Edie had to go for her appointment. Yes, hopefully all goes well for you. Amy wanted music recommendations. I don't listen to music, and when I do listen to music, it's usually rock and roll and punk and metal bands. So not exactly the kind of music you want to write a story to. Great for dancing though. Get your body moving. Definitely great for that. So let's see. How the rest of you guys do. Amy said, I just did a photo shoot with my brother and got pretty good photos out of it. Well, that's always good. I need to get my daughter, who's a photographer, has a really nice camera to take some nice headshots for me. But with things the way they are right now, I don't know how happy she would be with the thought. And the weather's not exactly nice for outdoor pictures. And it would be more, I mean, she lives in a beautiful wooded area, so the pictures could be really nice outdoor pictures, with the leaves and all framing my face kind of thing. We probably have to wait till a little bit warmer weather before we do anything like that. Maybe by then things will settle down. I do get my second vaccine shot on the 22nd. So one can hope that these vaccines are going to do something. For now, not so good. And she's not ready at this point. She's young. They're trying to do the older people first. And the more people that are more in compromised situations like I am. So Tamama says, ended up looking for an orthotic slipper instead of riding. Hey, listen, getting something comfortable for your foot, that's important. Don't worry about that. That's definitely important. Amy Lee says, my window surroundings, beautiful trees where we just took the picture. Well, that's cool. Very good. I don't know what the weather is like where you're at right now. See, you're on the other side of the world. So you're probably warm right now. So the temperature is probably not a real big problem. Courtney says she got some reading done. Good on you, Courtney. Got to get that reading done. I have a lot of things I need to read, and I have so many things to do that I, slip a little bit of reading in here and there, but not getting too far. And Amy corrects her last post and says surrounds. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to picture them from a plain old wall or dumb-looking chair or something like that. I want to get, a couple nice, have my hair halfway decent. Right now it needs to be cut, which is supposed to be Friday, but they've already canceled and changed it once. It was 2 weeks ago. It was supposed to go. Almost 2 weeks. The new one's 2 weeks from the first appointment. So, yeah, it's, I have to wait. It's getting really long. It's hanging in my face now. Amy says, like this morning, it was pouring rain, and now the sun is out and shining. That's great. That always makes nice pictures. Like I said, I do. All right. Greg says, I decided during the sprint that I was too tired to do anymore. I got a bit of editing done and began making backups. Well, good thing on the backups for sure. I need to do that again. I haven't done it in a little while. I usually email them to myself. I do have a hard drive hooked up, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. It's there, just don't know exactly how it works. So it's good that you got a little bit of editing done. And you were on the sprint before me, with me. I just climbed out of bed at that point then. So, like, I slept most of the day away and part of last night. I'm busy trying to be productive, figuring these streets and stuff out. Because I didn't realize when I set this up, one, I wasn't thinking about street names. And I figured they were both like, I consider them both to be, beach towns. So I thought, nautical terms. But now that the other town is the main town and it's not really on the beach anymore, we'll refer to the other town, but it won't be, the other couple, the main couple originally was in the beach town, on the beach. Well, it wasn't the ocean, it was a harbor. It's a harbor view. But it was still a beach house on a pretty harbor. So, it was an expensive house, which led to some of their problems. So that part still needs to stay. So if you need to go, I understand, Greg. It's also in the middle of the night still for you. Early morning? Almost time to get up. And I don't know if you work or not. You might have work to do. So, yeah, I can understand. So, let's see you again sometime soon, hopefully. So, that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to, like I said, copy my Excel worksheet into another. I didn't realize when I made the copy that it wasn't going to bring everything with it. It didn't dawn on me. I haven't used a lot of Excel lately, so my mind isn't exactly. It's 6 a.m. there. Okay, no work, fortunately. Well, that I'm good. You don't have work to worry about. Yeah, 6 a.m. Okay. Wow. Yeah, 5 hours. You're approximately 5 hours ahead of me. That makes sense. Well, maybe I'll see you later. I'll be back at 7 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time, after getting some sort of sleep in here sometime soon. Not sure when, since I slept all day. That makes it a little hard to go back to sleep. I thought it would be up till early in the morning here. You were from the future. Yeah, you're right. You are technically from the future. Even though we're existing in the same planet and whatnot, our time zones make things different. I mean, I have now officially turned to Tuesday, so it's not Monday anymore here either. There for a while, it was still Monday for me. Well, you were on Tuesday, and Amy was on Tuesday. Anita was on Tuesday. She's in Finland. So, yeah. So my current venture, like I said, is trying to copy the different worksheets into a new story Bible and start working on filling that information out for my second book and my new characters. Figure out a way, which I have an idea of how I'm going to connect the two books characters together so that, it can hopefully seamlessly move over to book 2. One can hope. I'm doing this on my own with not a lot of experience, so we'll see how it goes. Amy says it's 7:08 p.m. Tuesday, where she's at in New Zealand. Time travelers, I tell you, she says. Yeah, okay, so you're even further ahead. Wow. That's why it gets hard sometimes with people in different time zones. But you're more in a normal. We're all in odd times. Like like for me, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's Greg gets very early in the morning, and the rest of the people in the UK, Ireland, Scotland, area, it's about that time. I don't know where the breaks are. I don't keep track of all the time zone. They have enough trouble figuring my own out half the time. And when I look at somebody say, "Oh, I'm having a live stream at," I'm like, "Now, what does that mean? What does that mean in my time zone?" I have no trouble figuring out the United States. I think we have 4 time zones altogether. Now, book 1 is in beta reader status. Still needs a lot of work. And when it becomes available, it will be on my blog, because I cannot, at this point, have any income coming in. I can't risk screwing up my benefits by adding more income. That's even if it sells. But I can't take the chance. Plus, I don't have the funds for doing all the professional edits and all that stuff. I have to rely on myself. Mine is not that great sometimes. But once book 1 is ready, it will go up on my blog, just like I did with the memoirs. I've already created the book 1 cover, unless I decide to change it, because I just noticed some new covers in the cover section of Canva. I'm a Prime member, so I get a lot more access than just the free version. So there are some new stuff in there that, maybe I'll see something I like better. But the man walking out of the woods and it looks like a man anyhow. My murderer's in the woods killing people. So it's foggy. And that's the other thing, is I think it shows foggy. And it's a foggy, rainy night when the murders, and there are total, take place. It's a double murder. So Amy says, as a fellow beta reader, Tessa's work is amazing. Got to get back to reading today or tomorrow. Well, thank you, Amy. That was very nice of you. Greg says you can have real blind spots when it comes to your own mistakes. It's better to have someone else look at it. Hence the beta readers. Getting somebody's eyes. Yes. Because I was getting to a point where it's like, I've read this so much now, I don't know if that's good, if that's right or not right. Like you said, you've got blinders on sometimes. Rick says maybe you can find editors on Fiverr if you can afford that. Depends on how much they charge. And like you said, we said, some of those people are good and some of them not so good. So I would hate to put a lot of money out for someone. And I notice a lot of the people do not speak English as a first language, which would make editing a little bit more difficult if they don't speak English very well. Having them edit my book may not be so great. But I found quite a few people in my own little, between my blog and my YouTube, I found some people. So I'm working on the different pieces as they come in. I still have the corrections to make, the mistakes, the grammar mistakes, the proofreading kind of mistakes I fix as they go along, and they point them out. But, you know, and now that I have to add these other sections in, it's going to be a little bit different than it currently is. But those are in a section I have to work on anyhow, I think. So probably not going to be, like, I have to cut some stuff out. And people pointed out a few things, and they make sense. You know, it's like you said, there's sometimes you don't see it when you're looking at your own work. So I'm definitely, you know, glad to have the beta readers look at it and point out things that they see that I don't. Now, if I was going to do a regular publishing, then I would have to say I'd have to figure out how I could afford to get someone to, you know, do the editing professionally. I mean, there's a lot of people writing Authortubers that do editing that aren't too bad. I know quite a few of them. But I just don't have that money to put out. Amy says, I might read or watch a YouTube video in the next sprint. Need to relax for a bit. Take a quick break. That's certainly understandable. And you can do what you want. I'm not a taskmaster. We're getting ready for another sprint. It's time to get started and back to work again. So I'm going to set the timer again. And we can get back to work or reading or napping or eating or whatever it is you have to do or want to do. So I'm going to set the timer for another 25 minutes. And we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we'll see you all in 24 minutes, hopefully. All right, I'm back. Didn't get too much done on my work. So I've made some notes, did some thinking, but I was taking my nebulizer breathing medicine. How to do that. Um, I see all these messages here I gotta go through. So I did that and I got something to eat. All right. Back to where we were. Okay, this is where I think we left off. Greg says, don't know about your budget. Kabalkin on Fiverr charges €30, about $36 for 20K words. She also streams word stitch write-ins. She's quite good. I have heard of word stitch. I've not been on one of her streams though. Let me make a note. Let's see what she charges and what exactly that's for. And that is word. Is it for the word stitch? Word stitch. Write-ins. She's quite good. I'll keep that in mind. I mean, right now I'm not really actually physically publishing them anywhere. So having an actual person editing is not really super essential. Since I'm not putting it out in the, just posting it on my blog as my story. But if I ever go to publish, I will definitely need somebody. So that's something to keep in mind. Thank you, Greg. Amy says, does animal deaths tend to be triggering in books? Should I consider warning the reader? Here's my thought. I can handle a lot of animals dying to a point. But if you kill a dog or cat or bunny or something like that, I get really kind of upset. So I would be upset a little bit if you killed a giraffe, but not the same upset as I would be if you killed somebody's dog or cat or bunny. For example, Laura has a bunny. Those kind of things. Those kind of animal deaths do bother me really bad. I've avoided many movies if I knew that the main character was going to be an animal because I just can't take what happens to them. So, yes. My answer to that would be yes, it can be triggering. I don't know exactly how you warn the reader, though. Do animal deaths. Okay. Amy says, K-pop in my love right now. Vibing in the dark is fun. So how did the rest of you do during the sprint? Amy says, there was the death of a deer involved in the scene. That's another animal that bothers me. Bambi tore me up. The story Bambi, oh my God. But I might get trigger warnings. Yeah. I mean, if it's just like a general thing happening, it's not so bad as the whole story being about a certain animal, like Bambi, and then what happens in Bambi. We know what happens in Bambi. That bugs me bad, really upsets me. I'll cry a lot over those kind of scenes. Greg, You know, I know you don't understand the idea of animal deaths being triggering. Human beings die in stories all the time. I'm okay with a human being as long as it's not a child. But I do have a problem with children dying in stories. And there's a couple of books I will not read because I know a child dies in it. I won't do it. So that can be triggering too. Courtney got some more reading. Great. Trying to decide whether or not I want to stay up and finish this book. Yeah, it's always a hard decision. You get to a certain point and then you don't want to put it down. Amy says, my dad actually cried when he watched Bambi in preschool. Well, of course. I still would cry, but I won't watch it. I mean, I watched it when I was a kid and it tore me up. I will not watch that ever again. Never, 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 never. Courtney says, oh, I was thinking of watching the Bambi movie today. Well, if you're really serious, huh? And that doesn't bother you and you know the story and you can handle it, then fine. But if you don't know the story and animal deaths bother you, you don't want to do Bambi. I'm sorry. I can't promote that show. Hi, Stephanie. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Probably since last week on Charlie's stream. So how you doing? This is kind of a pop-up I didn't plan on, so I'll be streaming later at 7 o'clock tonight again. Amy says the usual smell of leaves in summertime didn't put her at ease as it once did. Is there another smell involved there? Amy says at a time it filled her head to the brim with happy memories of childhood, but now it only brought a creeping cold at what was to come next. Intriguing. Courtney says A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's a novella, so it's sure enough to read in one go. Those are nice. I like books that I can read and be done with. And just be done. Otherwise, I used to love to read and I would read long books and I don't have as much time to read now. So nice shorter stories are great. Definitely. Okay, so Amy says to Courtney, what? I've been reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh, jumped again. I missed part of that. Court of Frost and Starlight. Court of Thorns and Roses. Interesting. Courtney says to Amy, it's such a good series. It just keeps getting better. I love those series. That's what I'm trying to do with my mystery series. Trying. I've never done anything like this before. Never read a novel before either, so we're still struggling with book one, and then I'm planning on making a bunch of them. Stephanie says, I've been busy with releasing my book. It's nice to see you again. Oh, that's right. You had a book coming out about that. Yeah, how'd it go? It's great. Thank you. Nice to see you too. Forgot you're releasing another book. I don't know how much work goes into that. I can imagine. Courtney says, oh, you write mystery? Mystery is so hard. Yeah, I'm finding out how hard it is. Book number one kind of fell in my lap on the Panther, and it just like all appeared, and it was great. Now I'm struggling because book two is, I can come up with some story, but I'm like, I have to figure out, who's dying, who's going to be the murderer, how they're going to do it, and the whole thing. And that's a little bit harder than I realized. So, and I don't know much about mysteries except I read them. So yeah, it is hard. I am finding that, definitely. Stephanie says it went well, I think. Well, that's great. Glad to hear it. Always good news. Amy says a certain queen's ring, if you know what I'm saying, to Courtney. Yeah, I've been trying to, I just found some of my notes from my second part, but I'm trying to create the story Bible. It's taking time. A lot of the people will still be in it, so I don't have to write a lot of it up. May have to update some of the things like ages and stuff like that, because time moves on. It's not all happening all at one time at the same time. So, time will move on and people will get older. And I have to remember that when I'm writing the story Bible, that, people are getting older. That was a 25-minute one. Yes. Yes. You can do 25 again if you want. I just set it for 25, and we can do 25. All right, so let's set the timer and start another 25 minutes. I didn't get too much done that time because I was doing my medicines and grabbing food, checking blood sugars, and all that fun stuff. Courtney says to Amy, "Oh, you're close to the end. That ring was creepy." Ooh, wow. Right, let me set the timer. 25 minutes. So we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. I'll see you in 24 minutes. Hi, Greg. Hope I didn't miss you. Have a good night. See you soon. night, Courtney. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. Hopefully we'll see you again. I actually see people leaving because I'm working on Word, Excel, so I can see my screen. Normally I miss people leaving or coming. So, good night. Thanks for coming. Man, it's almost time for the timer to go off, so I guess I better stop what I'm doing. Watch that timer. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here, too. How about that? My timing's all screwed up because of that crazy ass nap after sleeping all day and then sleeping all night to get up at 10 o'clock, went on a stream, decided to post another stream since I was awake. And then I have to stream again at 7 tonight. Somewhere along the line, I'll have to go to sleep. But I'm not ready for that yet. All right, timer is about to go off. We'll catch it. All righty. Well, I actually got a good bit done. Started, and I'm still working on the story Bible, filling it in, changing names on some things, which I'll still have to go back into book one. I mean, I haven't really started the edits after the beta reader stuff is coming in anyhow. I need to change a lot of addresses to make them work since I'm creating a series out of this whole thing. I've come across some of my notes, and I have a lot of notes on wedding planning, which you would think I was planning a wedding. I have so many notes on wedding plannings, but I am technically planning a wedding for book two. I'm planning a wedding. So for the story, I need to do this research. So I've got a ton of research on wedding planning because they're planning a wedding. And it started out, for you who don't know, no, I don't know, maybe all of you who are left do know. Actually, it looks like I have one left. I wonder who's still here. I'm not really sure. It says I have one person. I'm doing that long prompt, writing every day another portion of the story, and that's becoming book two. I'll have to start heading it toward. I haven't even decided who's going to be murdered yet, or where, when, who's doing it, who's going to be murdered. I don't have any of that set up yet. So now that I eat something sweet, I need something salty to take away the sweet taste. I can't stand that. I need the taste of sweet in my mouth. I have to get a couple pretzels. Though they don't have any salt on them, so I don't know how they're going to actually take the sweet taste away. But it's all I have that's salty. I'm not allowed to have salt. So there's not much in the way of salt here. All right, so I don't know who's still here. If anybody did anything that is still here and wants to let me know. And if anybody's still here, just let me know you're still here. So I know I'm not alone here. I don't expect too many more people to join at this time of the night. And maybe I'll just set my timer back to 30 minutes and run it a few times, see if anybody shows up. And if not, then I can end the stream and continue my work on my own. I don't have to keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Nobody's here. Okay. It says 0 people. Let's see what this is. Okay. It just says one watching. So somebody's still watching. Just maybe at work. It's like all my other people. I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes, see what happens. Start it. March. Back here. No one else has said anything. Right. Back to my blog post. No, nothing there. Alrighty. Well, that was 30 minutes, and it appears that now there is nobody here. So I might as well just end the broadcast and continue doing my work till I'm ready to go to bed. No sense setting off a timer I have to keep interrupting for if nobody's here. Makes sense. So good night, everyone. And I will see some of you hopefully at 7 o'clock tonight when I live stream again. Good night.